All right, so for those of you that don't know, the Amazon Prime section for the Wheel of Time has some additional content on it. Now, I am not pulling stuff directly from the Prime. I am only grabbing stuff that is from Twitter. All right? So the stuff that you're about to see, what I'm about to show you is only from what has been posted on Twitter, so Amazon. I am not sharing out content exclusive to my Prime account. This is things that are publicly available on Twitter. But if you have to copyright strike this or something, by all means, do what you got to do. But let's get into it. All right. For their own safety or not having to worry about them potentially being the target of any takedown request, I have hidden whose tweet I'm looking at. But yeah, so this is what the Wheel of Time thing currently looks like for Amazon Prime. You can see it here on the screen. There's a general write-up of Wheel of Time for the TV show. There is obviously the Wheel of Time font that we've come to know, and then a thing that says begin your journey with the backdrop of Tar Valon and a play icon for Marines Quest. We all know that the Marines Quest video dropped first on Amazon Prime before it came out on YouTube. Okay, here we see a write-up for Moraine. So at the top we have Rosamund Pike in full Moraine regalia with the quote, "They're here for the same reason as I am, for you. The Dark One is waking. His whispers are already in the backs of our minds. But there will be one who can stand against him. The dragon has been born again, and it's one of you." This is pretty cool, because this is Moraine directly saying to the group from Mons Field, it's one of you, rather than just, I'm taking you for some reason. Okay, below this, we see another shot of Moraine in full Moraine regalia. This time we get a more full personage shot, full body shot, with the caption, "Who is the Dragon Reborn?" And this is a segment about Moraine. And it says, Moraine has come to the Two Rivers in search of the one who will save or destroy the world. A mysterious and powerful Aes Sedai capable of channeling the One Power, her arrival brings with it concern and threat of chaos. She claims to seek the prophesied Dragon Reborn, but for what purpose? Ooh, ominous. Aes Sedai may never speak that which is not true, but the truth one tells you is not always the truth you may think. I like how they broaden it to say, like, people do this. Not necessarily just the Aes Sedai. Okay, next, if you click any of the profile pictures, I guess is the best way to say it, across the bottom, you move on to Egwene, where it says the innkeeper's daughter, Egwene, is wise beyond her years. She is determined, steadfast, and driven by logic. She's promised to marry Rand, but others see her potential. Interesting phrasing. She is promised to marry Rand, but others see her potential. The town wisdom wishes to train her, and the arrival of an Aes Sedai who wants to take her from the Two Rivers further complicates her once simple life. She's quickly realizing she could be more important than anyone ever imagined. Next is Rand. Few things are more important to Rand than his family and friends. He is impossibly stubborn, impulsively driven by his love and compassion for others, especially Egwene. When Moraine arrives in Two Rivers, he pays little mind. Perhaps there is power within him or one of his friends, but his only concern is protecting those he loves at any cost. And he will have to do that sooner or later. ... Next we have Matt. Matt is always ready with a smart remark and loves to make people laugh. And yet, his mischievous smile and witty retorts simply distract from the question constantly burdening him. Is he a good person? And how would he know? That's interesting. That's interesting. From the start, Matt asking himself, am I even a good person? And if I am, how would I even know? Interesting. His parents were far from role models, yet he fears himself fated to follow their path. But perhaps, if that Aes Sedai is to be trusted, his future may have other things in store. This is interesting for Matt, because I never read Matt as coming from, like, a troubled home or a home where, like, mischief about it. Maybe I'm just forgetting part of the Eye of the World, but it's definitely interesting. It's an interesting way to portray Matt. I think it's a very relatable way to portray Matt. I'm not sure about his folks though it does lead credence to why Matt is the way Matt is. Next we have Perrin. Don't let the physique from long days of working a forge fool you. Perrin is a gentle giant. Fucking true. To those closest to him, he's a man of strength and stability who approaches every decision with thoughtful consideration. Despite his kind and gentle nature, his physical strength cannot be denied. Is this a reflection of some deeper power? Perrin fears that one way or the other, circumstances may reveal the answer. Interesting wording for Perrin. It indicates that he's worried that he may be the one Moraine. So this goes back to Moraine saying, the dragon is being reborn, and that's one of you, essentially. So this seems to lead credence to the idea that not only are we all, looking at the show wondering who the Dragon Reborn is, and Moraine doing the same, but also perhaps the Amon Fielder 5 are doing the same. Next, Nynaeve. Nynaeve is fierce and assertive, commanding respect as the youngest wisdom the Two Rivers has ever seen. She's brash and unpredictable, but her compulsion to heal is what truly drives her. Fucking accurate. She may be slightly older than the other four from the Two Rivers, but her innate abilities are not to be discounted. Nynaeve despises the Aes Sedai, yet Moraine senses a power within her, one she simply cannot ignore. Very interesting. It seems worded very differently than Rand, Matt, and Perrin and Egwene so far. It doesn't seem to lend as much credence to the idea that, Nynaeve could potentially be the Dragon Reborn, which those of us that have read the books, we kind of know how this goes. So, very well done and very on point for Nynaeve. Last, but certainly not least, is ya boy, Lan. Lan is Moraine's warder, a warrior bonded to an Aes Sedai through the One Power. Equal parts bodyguard, confidant, and ally, he and Moraine share an unbreakable bond. Driven by duty and honor, his stoic exterior reflects the unwavering loyalty that supersedes his own desires. He would give his life for Moraine, and will do what is necessary to find the Dragon Reborn, whatever Moraine's plans may be. That's super dope. It leaves a ton of mystery in, is Moraine planning something good? Is she planning something bad? Does Lan really care? Is she really there for the betterment of the world, of society, of the Amon Fielders? Is Moraine who she portrays herself to be? And I love how each one of these character profiles has added an air of mystique about them, which we know Amazon has wanted to do for the series and to make people wonder, who is the Dragon Reborn? Can Moraine and Lan be trusted? That's very reminiscent of my first read. Who is the important one? Who's the chosen one? Can these people be trusted? All right, next up is this. The Westlands await. Dive into the world of the Wheel of Time. Explore beautiful and exciting locations from the show and follow their characters' journeys as they venture out from a small village in the Two Rivers into perilous and adventure-filled lands with the button to click Explore. Now, this is an interactive map available to those who have Prime. Again, go get Prime. If you don't have it already, get Amazon Prime. If nothing else, for the Wheel of Time show, but definitely get Prime. There are a lot of locations. There are locations I didn't expect to see, and I'm sure a lot of other people didn't expect to see. All right, so I'm expressly not showing this next part on screen, and I'll try to keep it brief since you can't see what I'm seeing. But the interactive map is dope. It is the Westlands we're familiar with. It is Randland. Things of note, spoiler warning, cloud cover is either too dense or there's no Land of Madmen included. I can see Tremel King. I can see a little bit of landmass to the far west that it may be Shan-Chan lands. You can go as far north as to kind of see that the Blighted area does extend far beyond the Aerith Ocean, and it goes all the way out to the right to where the Blighted land kind of curves down into the Isle Waste, and you can see the mountain range to the east of the Isle Waste where we know Sara is back over there. There is some weird artifacting, which I may throw up a picture here, I may not, in the clouds to the northeast of the Tar Valon mark. But very much as we expected, Tar Valon is right next to one of the taller, if not tallest, mountain features. And we have an indicator there. When you click on it, you get a picture of a shot of Tar Valon with its walls. And the statement says Tar Valon is the seat of power for the Aes Sedai, and so perhaps the most influential city in the world. Going south and slightly west, you come across a marker for Breen's Spring, Breen''S. You get a shot of what looks like a small village or town area butted up against a mountain with the caption, Bryn Spring is cobbled together at the edge of a quarry. People there are as hard as the stones they mine. It's an area that is mentioned in the Eye of the World. Eye of the World, chapter 33. Master Kinch mentions it, talking around his pipe, keeping his eyes on the road ahead. So this is something mentioned as Rand and Matt are traveling on the road trying to make it to Caemlyn, that the Queen's Guard won't go much further than Bryn Spring, lest they're called for, not like old days. He sucked his pipe, then added, I suppose these days there's parts of the realm that the guards don't see in a year or more. Not like the old days, which we know from having read the series that this is a common kind of theme or concern about why most of the people in Amon's Field don't realize or don't really consciously think about the main part of Andor. Going further south and slightly east of Bryn Spring is notably named the Kingdom of Tyr. We get a shot of what looks like a coming into Autumn Valley with a river running through the middle of it, and it says the Kingdom of Tyr. This coastal kingdom is home to a formidable fortress known as the Stone of Tyr. It has never fallen. So very interesting. Tyr, the Stone of Tyr is included in the map, which we assume is preceding season 1. Going back north and to the direct west of Bryn Spring, of course, we get Shadar Logoth. We get a scene of what looks to be some of the buildings and maybe some wall that kind of overlooks or is part of Shadar Logoth against a dusk sky. It's a very kind of darkish image with a lot of purple and blue in the sky and a lot of just darkness around the features. The Shadar Logoth, once the richest and most powerful city in the world, these ruins are now haunted by a shapeless evil. Continuing west, we get Two Rivers. If you remember from the trailer or Moraine's Quest, I don't remember exactly which, there was a shot of what looked to be maybe Rand and Egwene sitting at the edge of a cliff overlooking a valley. That is the picture we get here. You see two individuals sitting on a cliff of kind of white and colored stone overlooking a valley with a river running through it up against another mountain range. It says Two Rivers. Nestled between these rivers lies the home of 5 young women and men destined to shape the world. Just south of that, we get a marker for Galdean. The picture seems to show a kind of pre or into autumn type of landscape. Looks like there's oh no, I am wrong. So the picture seems to show what looks to be a town on fire with smoke rising from it. And it says, Galdean is a relatively small kingdom in the foothills of the Mountains of the Mist. War has broken out here. So little bits of information here and there. The map does include general kind of markers on it. There is a marker for Armadisia. There's a marker for Terabon. There's a marker for Ilion. There's a marker for Altara. Marker for Tyr. Marker for the Sea of Storms. There is a marker for an island called Game, Gaim. A marker for the Isle of Trimalking. The Aerith Ocean. Eridomon. There's a on the map marker for Galdean. And it looks like the boundary of Galdean goes almost up, either just to or just over the Two Rivers. Yeah, there it is. It's hard to make out against the mountain range, but it's immediately to the east, of course, of the Two Rivers. There is not a Maine marker, so there is an IL waste marker. Now, is there a Blight marker anywhere? So there is a Mountains of Doom marker. So that is still included. There's a marker for Saldea, for Kandor, for Arafel, and for Shinar. There's another marker here that I can't quite make out. Oh, there's a Shao Ghoul marker. I can only see the Shao. Can I see the Ghoul if I go over? There's a weird artifact in the clouds too. Oh wait, no, it's a blight marker, not Shao Ghoul. It's a blight marker. So they've done very well with kind of making some of these markers hide to see unless you look. There's a marker for the Dead Sea. There's a marker for Isle Cashin. Like really cool, and I'm finding it out as I'm recording, which probably won't make for good editing, but Primal King. Interesting, whenever you zoom in, the little bit of land that you see to the left disappears. If I zoom all the way out, no, if you zoom all the way in, it disappears. So it's very interesting how the map's laid out. There are areas that you definitely learn, but there's a lot of cloud cover kind of over them. I wonder, is there a Mountains of the Mist marker? There does not seem to be, even though it includes a big lake at the top of the mountains. All right, there's also some stuff about the breaking of the world. The dragon loose Theron and a group of male Aes Sedai attempted to cage the Dark One forever. When they failed, the Dark One tainted the One Power, driving all male Aes Sedai mad. In their madness, they broke the world. Mountains fell, lands were reformed, civilizations collapsed, and the towering Dragon Mount was formed. This was the end of the Age of Legends and the beginning of the Third Age. Okay, again, the only source I have to pull this from is Amazon Prime, and I'm not going to record stuff directly from the Amazon Prime account or from my account. Further, we see a quote from Moraine that shows Moraine with kind of darker, kind of pauldron style, maybe leather coverings for her shoulders or armor. With the quote, "You've lived too long in these mountains, pretending what happens in the rest of the world can't affect you." Then we appear to get a timeline that identifies milestones with a waving banner flag, conflict with crossed swords, journey with the 4 arrow points of accomplished rows, and a meeting with 3 interconnected circles, one at the bottom, one at the top middle, or 2 at the bottom interconnected and one at the top middle. So that exists. And it starts at 0 AB, the breaking of the world. So after breaking, then there are different points that you can scroll through. Some you can click on. The first one, the pattern demands a champion. This is 2 Danu 978 NE. And it says, a child was born, believed to be loose there, and spun back into the world once again born back into the world to once again challenge the Dark One. This person has been referred to in prophecy as the Dragon Reborn. They are fated to have great power, and it's said they will either save the world or destroy it. The next marker we get is this one, which is a journey mentioned. This is where Moraine's quest starts in 979 NE. The Aes Sedai Moraine began her search for the next dragon, an individual born on a foretold date, said to be the chosen one who is able to touch the source of the One Power, powerful enough to save the world from the Dark One or destroy it once again. The next marker we get is 998 NE. Nice to see that those dates are being kept the same, even though we know the Amon Fielder's 5s have been aged up to where Rand is 20 years old and the rest are, comfortably aged up. But in On to the Two Rivers, it says Moraine's search for the dragon led her to the quaint region of Two Rivers, where she had heard rumors of 4 young people who potentially matched the prophecy of the Dragon Reborn. Interesting to note here, there is no statement that it was, he breathes or he was born again, that it's emphasis on just they were born again. So very interesting. I like it. It adds to the mystique of who the Dragon Reborn actually is, but it doesn't give any of it away. So I very much like this. Very good. So that is it for the new stuff that has come out from Amazon Prime on Amazon Prime. Again, any visuals that were shown here in this video were shown via other things that have been posted on Twitter. None of it was grabbed from Amazon Prime or Prime Video. Yes, I do have access to it, and I use that to read off some other stuff to just give generic overviews. So hopefully that's good enough. And hopefully it makes you want to go and see it if you're able. to go and see it to get Amazon Prime. You're definitely going to want to have it by November 19th when the series comes out. Remember, first 3 episodes of the Wheel of Time TV show drop November 19th, 2021. It's going to be dope. That's a Friday you're going to want to take off from work and show Amazon love, show Rafe love, show Sarah love, show everybody so much love that have made this series a reality on the TV screen. Everything indicates it's going to be epic, but we'll have to see it for ourselves, and I know we'll love every last minute of it. That being said, with the things I've read out, the things that maybe I was able to show you through using stuff that was already posted on Twitter, things of that nature, please let us know down in the comments below. What did you think? What are some things I read out that stood out to you? What are some things that maybe you've seen through your access that are of interesting note to you? Leave it in the comments down below. We can't wait to see the discussion, and thank you so much for listening.